come join me as I take a trip down to Miami. I spent the day walking around downtown and then enjoyed a lively evening walking down Ocean Drive and South Beach. Then I hopped on an MSC cruise sailing down to the Bahamas. After a stop at Nassau for a few hours, I stayed at Ocean Cay, MSC's private island, for 2 days. This trip was an expensive one, but well worth it since it was with the family. I'll be honest, I didn't record as much as I normally would since this was a family trip. Still, I tried my best to capture the highlights and the beauty of the place, so with that being said, I hope you enjoy the video. Now, this was my first time in Miami. I'm actually from New York City, and the furthest south I've been before this trip was Georgia, so I knew it was going to be hot and humid. Our hotel was located in downtown Miami, and after dropping our bags, we headed out to check out the surroundings. I found out there's a free train called the Metro Mover that takes you around the downtown area. So we spent like 20 minutes riding around, checking out the architecture and style from above. What I found really cool were the large murals painted on the walls of buildings, which was a common theme around Miami. Later in the afternoon, we drove to South Beach. It was around 6 p.m.-ish, and it looked gorgeous. First, we had a quick stop by the beach, and the whole scene was stunning. All the trees and flower bushes were clean and well kept, and it just made the walk down that much more enjoyable. After walking for a while and following the noise of the crowds, I came upon Ocean Drive, which is an iconic strip in South Beach. The street was full of bars and restaurants and really came alive. I later found out that there were more crowds than normal because of the Ronaldinho Gala, which took place right here on Ocean Drive. The whole strip was bustling full of energy, and as the sun set, the neon lights lit up the streets. The drive back to our hotel was the last highlight, and after that, it was time to get ready for the cruise itself. I'll start off with the room tour just to show y'all what the living arrangements were like. So first, to our immediate left, we have the bathroom. Nice little shower, toilet, fairly standard bathroom. And then, we have a large bed here, a TV, a couch that could turn into a bunk bed, and a balcony with a few lounge chairs to relax and enjoy the ocean breeze. I did pay extra to get a room with a balcony, and looking back, it was worth every bit of it. You'll see exactly why in a minute. Now, this being my first cruise, I wanted to experience how a cruise ship actually leaves the dock, and the perspective was kind of shocking. It feels like you're at the top of a very large apartment building and your hotel is suddenly moving. And at this point, I was pretty glad I got a balcony room just to experience this. I mean, you can just imagine the scale of this thing, looking at the Royal Caribbean cruise ship we're passing by. And just to mention really quick before I forget, the ship we were on was called the MSC Seaside. And in the distance there, you can see downtown Miami skyline. Here, we're finally passing by South Beach and Ocean Drive, headed out for the open ocean. That night, after we settled in, we hit the buffet. Every kind of food you could think of, and surprisingly, it was never too crowded. I think I gained 2 pounds by the end of the trip. The next morning, I woke up to the ship pulling into Nassau. After breakfast, we headed out to see the town, and honestly, didn't plan to spend more than a few hours here. I wasn't ready to pay the price for Atlantis or Margaritaville for the whole family, so we skipped both and just walked around the main square instead. People on the island seemed nice, but a bit intense, always trying to get you to buy something, which was slightly off-putting. And prices in general were way higher than I expected. But realistically, if I'm on the ship again, I think I'd just stay on board instead. I will still say that walking around Nassau at least once is still worth doing. After a few hours, we were back on the ship, and honestly, what came next was a completely different experience than Nassau. Better in almost every way. The next day, I woke up a little late, but looking out from the balcony, I found that we were already docked at Ocean Cay. This is a small island owned by MSC, more of a place to relax on the beach and get that almost remote, private island feel, even though the whole thing was built by the cruise line itself. So as you moved from beach to beach, you never really left that island bubble. They did have a few activities available, jet ski tours, kayak rentals, that kind of thing. We did the kayak thing, and I'll admit, being out in the actual ocean was intimidating at first. The waves rock you around more than you'd expect. The real highlight for me was the snorkeling. We rented gear for the family and spent most of our time at Bimini Beach, on the north side of the island, which turned out to be the best spot for it. The water was full of color, fish hiding behind the rocks, whole schools moving together in sync. Some of them were even as big as your forearm. Easily one of the best parts of the whole trip. At night, Ocean Cay had its own light show at their lighthouse, which was a nice surprise after a full day in the sun. There was also a DJ dance party going on. One of the biggest events on the ship was the white party. Everyone was dressed in white, and the dance floor was packed, DJ up front running through hit after hit, and it genuinely felt like half the ship had shown up. Everyone was dancing and having a good time, and even me and my brother got in on the fun. MSC Seaside also has a full theater on board, and the first show that we caught was an illusionist. He was as much an entertainer as a magician, knew exactly how to work the crowd, and he had some generally good tricks mixed in. It didn't feel especially memorable, but as a night of entertainment on the ship, it did the job pretty well. On our final night of the cruise, we caught the MJ tribute show. This show was massively popular, and the theater didn't have enough seats to accommodate the crowd. It was definitely worth it though, because the whole theater was head bopping, dancing in their seats, clapping and cheering throughout the whole thing. The song choices were great, and the choreography held up impressively, especially knowing that these performers run multiple shows a day. This was easily the best show on the entire ship. Now, if I did this trip again, I'd probably skip Nassau as a cruise stop. A few hours off the ship isn't really enough time to explore it properly. But looking back at everything else, a few moments really stuck with me. Ocean Drive lit up at night, sitting on the beach at Ocean Cay after snorkeling, just taking it in, or dancing the night away at the white party with my brother. More than anything though, it was about who I was with. My dad had always wanted to go on a cruise, and this ended up being our Father's Day trip together as a family. And that's what really made it worth it.